Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and with me today I have Brock,
Wow.
and that's it.
Yeah, we
Because,
have a no-show.
yeah, Brian, is at dinner. Just always at dinner.
I say we flame him while he's not here.
Yeah, we should absolutely flame his picks. This is the LEC podcast since we have LEC starting tomorrow. We'll go ahead getting right into our power rankings probably because we don't have any games to review, so let's do that. First up, everyone's favorite EU team of all time now have the MSI champions, the team to beat in the world at the moment, G2. Unanimous
Yeah.
number one, I would say. That was easy enough. Just a really good team. Like they did lose Promise Q, so I'm gonna move over to this sheet so you can see the changes to the teams. But yeah, they did lose Promise Q, their backup support, but the rest of the team is there, and I think they'll be okay. I don't think anyone in EU can even compete with them personally. Is that why you have number one as well, Brock?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, obvious. But
Absolutely.
we both have Origin number two. Brian, like a weirdo, as Fnatic number two. But yeah, I think Origin. I think they. It's tough to judge EU because like they're so much worse than G2. You know, like so much worse. But they did put together a pretty solid season, first year back in the league, and they still have Nuke Dog. They still have the exact same team. No one's left. Miffy improved throughout the year, which was nice to see after watching him in an A. And yeah, I just think that since they were the best team last split, and they have all the same players, no one like super improved really, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no one really super improved. So I'm kind of just hoping that I'm kind of assuming Origin should be the number two team again. Number three on our list on our total average. I'm taking them from the averages like we did on the other ones because it goes quicker on the podcast. Number three is Fnatic. You have Fnatic 3. Brian has them 2. Do you want to talk about that before I go into my explanation? Because I have them 5th.
Mine's kind of I kind of base my power rankings because obviously we haven't seen anything. This is the first week, so I'm kind of based off of last season. And I think last season they started to do very well. Not at the beginning, like towards the end, they started to do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think obviously Origin is better than Fnatic, and G2 is better than all of EU. So obviously I can't have them one or two. So I think third place is just a safe pick to put them right now.
Okay.
Within the top five, I should say, is a safe place to put them right now.
I'm just worried because, like I said, the rumors that were around. I know, like on Twitter, they said like the PR thing, everything's good, you know, nothing's wrong. But there's definitely been disagreements on the organization with, I believe it's Broxa and the rest of the team, just on the style of league that they want to play. It's probably more of a like, because Fnatic's always been carry through bot lane type situation, and maybe they're trying to adapt to the solo lanes, or maybe Broxa wants it. There's not many details out there, obviously. I just know this internal conflict, so I'm a little more hesitant to put them in there, like because they did struggle really bad at the beginning of the year last year as well. So I'm wondering if that will repeat itself, and if it doesn't, I can instantly shoot them back up. It's preseason power ranking, no big deal. My third place team, nope, we're not talking about them yet. Fourth place, we all unanimously had Splice in fourth. That's where they finished last year. It's probably where they are this year as well. No changes as well. There were 6 teams in the league that, if you don't count Promise Q leaving G2, 6 teams that really didn't make any change. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically 8 teams that didn't make any significant changes in EU. So it's not in the meta really hasn't shifted too much. So I think they'll be very similar. We have Splice obviously in fourth with that, and then you and Brian have Vitality 5th. I have them 3rd just because I feel like Vitality, like unlike Fnatic, started out really hot and then collapsed towards the bottom or towards the end. And I think that with the stuff coming out that they had like the flu or something like that, I forgot what it was, but they were like really ill. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. What happened to that team? You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just fell off a cliff once it came to like the last week of the season, like the last 2 weeks of the season, and then like the playoffs. Like they just sucked, and like so I'm hoping in my eyes I have them with a little bit higher potential than Fnatic personally for me, but they also are more volatile, so they can definitely drop as well. But I have them with the more potential. I'm gonna put them at third at the moment. Next we have them fifth overall on our, and you can tell we have G2 with a 1.0, OG with a 2.3, Fnatic with a 3.3, Splice with 4.0, Vitality with 4.3, and then it drops off a cliff, like number wise. Like we have a solid 5 teams, and then the rest were like, not so much. We have a two-way tie for 6th and 7th between SK, which you and Brian have them in 6th. I actually have SK in 9th, which you might be like, what are you doing, William? Like, SK made playoffs last year, but they made playoffs pretty much on the back of Self-Made. You know, Self-Made is amazing in every sense of the word. I just am worried that now that teams, this was his like first year in the like professional league, that maybe teams are gonna start like really focus banning him and stuff like that because they can take over. Like they have Sakurai, I believe that's how you say, is for the summer, and you have Pyrian and Crown Shot and Dreams. Like it's not too great of a. Oh, thank you for mentioning that I am streaming under Project Winter right now. I will change that. I forgot that we did do a stream in Project Winter for on the podcast 2 days ago because we didn't have a podcast, I should say, and I didn't change it because I'm a terrible person. Let's do podcasts, talk shows, and podcasts. Changed and done. Okay, good to know. Thank you, Brock.
We back.
Yeah, we back. But yeah, I'm worried. What do you think? Because you have SK in the playoffs, like you have them number 6. I'm just worried that the rest of the team is not going to be a holdup.
Yeah, I mean, last season they ended 6th, I believe.
Yes, they made playoffs.
But it's like it wasn't clean, so they literally ended even. They ended 9-9.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It's definitely a team that I think could make playoffs, but there's also a team who could just be a gatekeeper as well.
That's true. I don't know if we have a gatekeeper necessarily in this sense. I think we're just more in a very split 5v5 situation where we have 5 good teams, and 4 good teams and 1 fantastic team, I should say, and then just 5 pretty mediocre at best to terrible at worst teams.
Yeah.
And I have so we have SO4 at number 7 as well. We all picked SO4 at number 7. So that is going to be where we had them, weirdly enough. That's how it works. I just don't like the roster that much. I think that Upset has to have a better, like their bot lane has to have a better split. They started out pretty strong and then they ended terribly, Upset and Ignar. So hopefully they can get better, but I don't know because I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you think about SO4? They did add Trick.
Yeah, they added Trick. I think SO4 shows that they are a lot like SK. They're kind of a very average team.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily good enough to be placed ahead of like the obvious teams, G2s, Origin, Vitalities, but they deserve to be recognized, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Like they have a shot for the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
I think the last spot in the playoffs is up for grabs for like 5 teams. I mean, even Rogue, which I do want to talk about Rogue because, or also Misfits, we have them at 7.3. They didn't change anything. Speaking of teams that need to get things done compared to last year, like we were complaining about Upset and Ignar, like the entire Misfits organization This is one of those teams. Each region, I just kind of realized, has of the four major regions. I don't know, not necessarily with LMS. I can't think of one. I guess Mad. Mad did fail to make MSI, but that's not as bad as these other ones I'm about to explain. But Misfits is a super team, built super team, didn't make
Yep.
playoffs. 100 Thieves, built super team, didn't make playoffs. Sunning in China, built super team, didn't make playoffs. And even, you can argue KT as well, with the relegations.
Yep.
Like, all these, like, KT's, like, not necessarily as much of a super... They were still a pretty good team. They should never have been ninth. But, all these regions had one, like, really big super team in them. None of them, or, like, none of those specific super teams made the playoffs at all. Which is interesting to me, because, like, the other teams that didn't make playoffs, like Rogue and Excel and stuff, we weren't really expecting much from them. But I just found it interesting that every region had at least, like, one team that everyone was like, oh, this team could be a dark horse to win the whole thing, Like, Sunning, they were really good in China. Like, they was like, oh, watch out for this team. This team's on fire. And then they finished in 10th, I believe. Misfits, yeah, I think I picked Misfits last year because of all the big names that they signed, like Gorilla and they had Soaz and Fevin, and like I'm like, oh wow, that's a pretty solid lineup that they're bringing over, and yeah, 100 Thieves of Bang, exactly like same thing, like just none of them worked out, and I personally put Misfits at 6. You and Brian both put them at 8. I think just off of just star power that they will be able to sneak past some of these other teams, because the rest of they don't really have. I'm kind of betting on star power here for when it comes down to it. If you need to get a win, I think these teams are a little bit better than the bunch of quote unquote nobodies on your team, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I think they have more potential, somewhat, and I just don't. I don't know. There's not as many question marks, I should say. They don't have as much potential because of the question marks on the other teams. They could have a lot more upside, but they have a lot more stability. They should have a lot more stability, I should say. They didn't prove it last split, but they should. They should be more solid than they are. But they could be in 8th place, like you guys said. That's fine too. Rogue is number 9. We had a 9.0 because I put him 8th, you put him 10th, and Brian put him 9th. I find it very funny that you put him 10th. You were like the big Rogue supporter last split. Like you picked Rogue like 7 times.
Yeah, but then they went 2-16.
True, but they changed almost all of their roster. They have Finn in the top lane now instead of Prophet. Prophet is still on the team. I just believe that Rogue is the starter now.
Yeah.
They got rid of Kikis in the jungle for Inspired. They got rid of Senkux in the mid lane for Larson. They got rid of Hiku in the bot lane for Woolite. And I don't know, Hiku still might be the starter. I'm not sure about that one. But then they got rid of Wadid for Vander as well. So like we saw Vander. That was actually when they got 2 wins were with Vander. But yeah, so like they've completely pretty much put their entire minor or their academy team essentially in, because their academy team was actually really good in academy. So like why not if your team was so bad? And I'm giving them props for that by putting them 8th. It's not like I'm giving them much, but I think that being willing to make that change is much better than finishing 2-16 and not doing anything about it, You gotta, Janair. Literally didn't change the roster, and they lost 2-0 to KT. Weird.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Yeah, like so. This is like a thank you. Like you're trying. I could see effort being put in. That's all I want from some of these teams. It's just some effort. Unlike me with fixing my lights, because I still haven't done that in like 3 weeks.
I'm the same, dude. It's like I just want. I know, like when it comes to NA and EU, that the obvious, like standout team is Liquid and G2. Mm-hmm. But if at the end of the season Liquid and G2 win again, like win the split again, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I just want it to be tough. I don't like all this. They're just blowing all these teams out. Man, I don't like this.
It's not fun to watch. That's why I love the LPL at the moment. I think there's a lot of teams
Yeah.
that can win. Like, there's legitimately, there was a bold prediction I saw on Reddit, and then I'm like, honestly, it's bold. It is bold for sure. But in any of the regions, it could happen. They said that IG is not going to make Worlds. That's spicy.
Yeah.
That's spicy.
That's definitely
But
spicy.
there's still like the situation of they could get just eliminated early in the playoffs, and you still have teams like Top and RNG and Fun Plus Phoenix, and like it's like, oh, they have a lot of teams that can actually fight for this, you know. EDG, like so, like I was like just thinking about, it, I'm like, oh wow, that yeah, there's definitely a possibility. Like if they didn't win summer and say like Fun Plus Phoenix or something came and like actually just beats them on points by like a smidge, and then IG just gets upset and Gauntlet, all of a sudden IG's gone. like,
Yep.
like I can't see that happening in NA in EU at all. Like not even close.
Nah.
Like there's no possible way that G2 does not go to Worlds, and there's no possible way that Team Liquid doesn't go to Worlds. Team Liquid there's a better shot for Team Liquid. I'll give it like a 0.1% chance. There is a 0.0% chance for G2.
Yeah, it would have to be some crazy upsets that.
Yeah, someone has to have their
expecting.
hands broken. like you
Yeah.
have to break Double's hand. You have to break Perks, Caps, Wonder, and Yanko's hands. And Mickey X's wrist's already broken, so we don't have to worry
Which
about
is
that.
weird to say because we watch a esport like league where crazier things have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Team
it
Liquid
could
beat
ha-
IG.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Liquid losing to 100 Thieves. If you were to look at everything else that's happened, or actually, I'm not going to say 100. That's NA. G2 losing to Rogue. Since how we're on the EU podcast, G2 losing to Rogue. If you look at that, you're like, bro, what? No, it's not going to happen. And then it comes up and it happens. You're only surprised for that day because you're like, dude, weird stuff has happened before.
Yeah, it's also best of ones as well. Like,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I know, like people are like, "Oh, let's bring back best of threes." As someone who watches now 13
Please
regions,
no.
I'm like, can the LPL and the LCK and LMS adapt? Like the other 9 regions or 10 regions has like everyone does best of ones except for China, Korea, and Taiwan. So I'm like, especially Taiwan. Please, Taiwan. Just make it best of ones. Makes my life so much easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's possible for G2 to miss Worlds at all here. And
I don't.
yeah, let's just briefly, since we're on the last one, Excel got finished in last in our rankings at 9.7. You had him in 9th, and me and Brian had him in 10th. I really hate the changes that they made, honestly. Harjit, I can't say his name. I'm sorry. Harnarn.
Kjarnan? Kjarnan?
Hjarnan. Thank you.
Kjarnan.
Thank you. I'm really bad with European names. I like him over Jeskla, to be fair. I hate Mickey on the team, personally. After what happened at Golden Guardians, I think that he should never be on a team again, pretty much. It seems like I've never seen such a rage quit, you know? If you don't know, if anyone doesn't know the story of Mickey, is that he played on Golden Guardians in Summer Split until he didn't because he just walked out of scrims one day and just left the country.
Yeah.
like that's intense, and I don't really want that on my team, you know.
Yeah, it kind of makes you question, like, Excel's leadership.
Yeah.
Because they know what happened with the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, and not to mention, you were drafting him to a team that finished 9th place last year.
Jeez. And it's not like he was anything like super special either.
Yeah.
Like he had 3 good weeks on Golden Guardians when the Talon not funnel necessarily, but take the chickens strat was going on. Like when you take the enemy chickens and stuff like that. What was that? That was like something weird.
It was like a So funnel level
Yeah,
2 kind of
it was
thing.
like it started with Morgana taking chickens, then it went to like Aatrox taking chickens, and like Talon taking chickens, and you took the enemy chickens and stuff like that. I forgot why it was, but it was basically, oh, it was Smite mid. That's what it was. Duh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all for that, and that's when they nerfed the gold. Like you had to have like if you're gonna get minions, you can't have the highest gold in the league or something like that. That was the only time Mickey was good last year. Like, and they don't have that strategy anymore. You can't do that anymore. like, so that was the only time Golden Guardians were winning, and it was because Mickey was crushing it on the Talon pick, basically. Basically, he's really good on Talon. He's really good on Aatrox with that style as well. But once that went away, they immediately started losing their games again, which I humble brag here. I predicted at one point when that got nerfed. I said Golden Guardians is not going to win a single game for the rest of the year, and they went like 0-6 or something, or 0-7 after that, and I was so happy. and but yeah, I don't like this Excel team. I didn't like this Excel team at all last year, and the fact that you're only like the Hjarnan is good update, but like it gets canceled out by Mickey, in my opinion.
Uh, you're pretty much having a mid laner that you know is going to be playing on tilt as soon as something happens.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And so, guess what's going to happen? Your mid laner's going to get camped, Excel. Sorry. Your mid laners are going to get camped.
Yep. And the fact that he's going to get on tilt and he's already not on a strong team, so it's not like oh, he'll only tilt during the bad games. There's going to be a lot of bad games.
Yeah.
Like, at least for sure, 5 of these teams should essentially go 2-0 against you. Fnatic, G2, Origin, Splice, Vitality. They should all easily go 2-0 against you. Yeah, like, what's he going to do to, like, Nuke Duck? And, like, Jizuke? Caps. Like, Caps against Mickey. Come on.
It's not going to be good.
No, it will not be. So let's get into our predictions then, I guess, because that's just what the very next thing is to do. So with that, I already have Brian's predictions over here somewhere. Let me write Brian's down. We'll just do them at the same time. G2 versus Splice. I don't think I really need to say too much analysis on this. G2 could come out with a hangover, but I think it's too. I don't think Splice is good enough to compete with G2. Personally, I don't think their slow style, which I love personally, is not good into G2's super aggressive fighting at all. Marking G2 for everyone here. Unless you got a bold upset here that I don't know about.
Definitely not this one.
No. Next, we have Excel versus SO4. Really don't like SO4 too much, but like we just flamed Excel for 5 minutes, so trust me, I'm going SO4 in this game. I think that upset and Ignar should hopefully like be able to. I can never say his name. Hjarnan.
Yeah.
I think his first warm-up game, get the jitters out. I think that's really good for Upset and Ignar to be able to capitalize on their aggressive play, which actually makes them kind of end a little bit. But the last season, that's what we saw at least, and they didn't learn how to like play from behind. They always played forward up too much, even when they were behind. But I think they'll be fine against Excel. Do you also have SO4?
Oh yeah.
Next is Origin versus Vitality. I think that this is personally for me game of the week. No, wait, G2 versus Origin is on. No, this is game of the week. Like they have G2 versus Origin as game of the week. No, it's a blowout. Whatever. Like, I think this is game of the week. I think these two teams are very close to equal, and I think that even though I have Origin above Vitality, I'm gonna go Vitality as the upset of this, and I think they're going to come out strong and with a new spicy strategy before anyone can think of it. And Origin's more like classical, so I think that they're definitely not going to be prepared for the crazy strategy or whatever strategy of Vitality I think is going to come out with. I don't know what, but I think it's going to be it's kind of like C9 a little bit, where they're more unique in their strategies.
Yeah.
What do you
I'm going Origin on this one. But I think this is going to be a very. I think it's for me. This is at least game of the day, not game of the week, but game of the day.
I think it's game of the week, honestly, because the other game you're talking about is G2 versus Origin, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's a blowout.
I mean, could be.
Yeah, could
But
be.
let's do say this though. We know G2 does like to play with their food sometimes.
They do
When it comes to
troll.
EU,
They do troll a lot.
I mean, because whenever
Hangover too.
Liquid,
MSI Hangover is a real thing.
yeah, whenever Liquid was losing their like games in like the last week or last two, G2 started losing games in like week 5.
That's true. That is true.
So they like to play around with people. So hey, maybe people can take advantage of it. We'll see though. I still personally, like you, don't think it's going to be much of an issue, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
But this one I have Origin in a good little slugfest.
Yeah. Next, we have Rogue vs. Misfits in a snooze fest.
Very much so.
Then, I'm picking Misfits. I do like that Rogue made some changes, but I just don't think. I think Misfits needs to win this game, or if they don't, it's like 100 Thieves. It's literally the 100 Thieves of EU. I mentioned that earlier. If they don't win, just like 100 Thieves when I picked them, they're dead to me.
Wasn't there a player on Misfits who was with the 100 Thieves last season?
No, you're thinking of Febivin, who was on Clutch.
Clutch, that's what it was. I knew it was a red and black team.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Misfits as well. I would like to see Rogue win. I would like for not to jump on a hype train. I would just like for maybe a paddle boat for Rogue to come by and jump on. No hype trains this season.
Oh, who did I screw? I screwed Golden Guardians. That's who it was.
Yeah, you literally screwed up Golden Guardians right after we talked about not saying hype train.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think so. We both picked 100 Thieves and we both got burned by it last week. So we're doing it again, just this with the EU version. Though I would say Rogue is bad, but so was Clutch Gaming, who 100 Thieves faced, and CLG. I think they also faced. Like, that wasn't that much of intense opponents. Like, let's be honest. CLG's not terrible. I don't think they're. I think they're like the SK or SO4, like where they have a shot to be a playoff team, but they're not great. Next, we have Fnatic versus SK. Flashback to week 1 of Spring Split, where SK pulled off the upset against Fnatic. Game got remade, and then they went and upset them again. Yeah, that was insane. That was a crazy start to the LEC, I think. But this time, I think that Fnatic will be too much to handle for SK. Like I said, I think it's the cat's out of the bag. It's all self-made, essentially. It's literally all self-made. And if you just focus him down, I think that they should be okay. And I don't think you can carry as hard from the jungle at the moment as you used to early on in the season because of the gold nerfs to jungle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Fnatic takes this one as well, and hopes of Fnatic starting off a lot better than they did last season.
Yeah, that was a terrible start last season. I'm honestly surprised they made playoffs with how bad they started.
Yeah.
Next, we have Rogue versus Excel, another snooze fest. Honestly, for Excel and for Rogue's purposes, Rogue has Misfits in Excel, and Excel has SO4 and Rogue. Like, these two teams, bottom of the seller teams last year, I believe. Was Excel 9th last year? Yes, they were.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great opening weekend for both of them to get something done. I did pick Rogue in this game because they made changes that I liked, and Excel made changes that I didn't like. It's kind of as simple as that.
Yeah, that's literally the exact reason. I don't like that you're drafting someone who is basically like 2015 Jensen, who once they get on tilt, they literally forget how to play League.
Mm-hmm.
And you're drafting him to a team who's already starting off as like the 9th place team.
Yeah, so he's gonna get on tilt easily. Like, you're gonna lose a lot of games.
Yeah, so hopefully Rogue can take advantage of it. Because me personally, I think literally everyone is going to take advantage of Excel's.
Yeah, I agree.
Any smart team would do it.
Mm-hmm. Next, I have, it's SO4 versus SK Gaming. Even though I have SO4, I'm actually going to go SK with the upset here. Like, I think that I just don't trust Memento in the jungle at all for SO4 after such a poor split last year. And I think that this will be a game that SK will be able to take, or Selfmade will be able to take over, and SK will be able to win. even though I know I haven't. It's always weird picking upsets in the preseason because like you shouldn't, you know, your preseason should be your top. And it burned me on NA. I picked 4 upsets and I lost all 4 of them.
Yeah, the first upset was a pretty big oof.
To be fair, they were coin flips too. It was like Golden Guardians over Flat Quest and stuff like that.
Yeah,
or Flat Quest over Golden Guardian. That's not even an upset actually. That was 4th and 5th. Either way, it was like 100 Thieves over CLG was a bad pick by me. I'm not happy with that pick. And 100 Thieves over Clutch was also bad because screw 100 Thieves.
No, now we know.
Now we know that they're.
I think I'm gonna go SO4 on this one.
SO4, okay. You and Brian. I just don't trust Memento at all.
Yeah.
Personally.
This one could burn.
Next we have Vitality versus Splice. Another pretty solid game, I think. And I'm gonna go Vitality again. I think that poor Splice has to deal with like the 2 most creative teams in EU. I was about to say in NA, but with G2 and Vitality, definitely the craziest. And I think that both of them will be able to end the game early enough through crazy strats to beat Splice. Because once it goes like 40 minutes with Splice, though, they win that game. 35 minutes, I think it was. Like 35 minutes was like a 90% chance for Splice to win. But I don't think either game goes 35 minutes. I think G2 ends it early against them, and Vitality ends it early against them as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Splice on this one.
Ooh, nice.
Just because. I really don't. For me, this is more of a coin toss than it should be because I know how good Vitality is because Jizuke is a very creative mid laner. But I also know how well Splice is that even though they're losing, they're still somehow holding on 55 power spike. So
just gotta get there, guy. We scale. Is the Splice. If you have the pro view thing or whatever, like Splice in their team chat. Don't worry, guys. We scale. That's all they say.
What happens if Splice comes into this season as like G2 team style? Like if they come in and just start starching people, but
like not the exciting way. You're saying they will be exciting.
Yeah, I'm talking about like beat people like pre 28 minutes.
Oh, I thought you were saying like they become G2 like winning wise, but just through boring.
No, I'm talking about just starching people.
That would be interesting. I doubt it will happen because they didn't change anyone.
I very much doubt it will happen.
If they had like changed up, like got some like more like active players, I'd be like, oh maybe, but look at that, they're all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 teams with only like 1 change with Trick in the jungle, and Memento is still there on SL4, right? So it actually could be Trick in the jungle. I was complaining about Memento, but I also don't really think that. I think SK should be able to take, or Selfmade should be able to take down Trick. Now I think about that as well. Next we had, what is it? I already lost.
Misfits versus Fnatic.
Yes, Misfits versus Fnatic. Because I wasn't on this website, I realized, which is what I wanted to be doing. Next is Misfits versus Fnatic, and I think that this one should be a victory for Fnatic. I'm not doing the double down like I did with 100 Thieves, but with Misfits, I'm picking Fnatic in this one. It's 100 Thieves' fault, by the way, Misfits. I might have picked you in this game. But I think this game will be close because I do have Fnatic 5th and I have Misfits 6th. This could be a really good win for Misfits. You got to do more to earn my trust now that I've been burned by you last split and I got burned by 100 Thieves this split as well. And I think it's a very similar situation.
Yeah, I've also got Fnatic in this game. I don't think it's going to be like a game where Fnatic is tested throughout the whole game, but I think it'll be a fun little game.
And then finally, we have G2 versus Origin, which is the real match of the week. I disagree with that because, well, it is Hangover. Like, this is I'm actually going to pick G2 just because of Team Liquid. Like this sounds weird, like I'm
Yeah.
basing my NA picks off of or my EU picks off of NA picks. But like I picked TSM to beat Team Liquid because I thought the hangover would be enough, and then they stomped them. So I'm thinking it's going to be another situation where G2 is like going to be playing up for the Origin game. They might lose a splice in this situation. Like that might be the Echo Fox of G2, but yeah, I think they'll be okay. I'm picking G2, and I think they're going to crush Origin after a 6-0 victory against them in playoffs. And it wasn't
No.
close.
I think I'm definitely picking G2. Like, I definitely think G2 is going to win.
Yeah.
But I think Origin is going to keep it exciting for a little bit. I think Origin is going to not so much hold in there, but definitely attempt to hang in there for a while. I think early game will be a lot of kills. And I think G2 is going to pace them out.
Yeah, I just think G2 at this point, MSI defending champs, possibly a favorite going into Worlds. I depends on the China team still for me personally. I'm biased,
Yeah.
I guess, towards the LPL, but definitely like 2 or 3 second, third best team, possibly best team in the world. And until then, I'm probably going to be picking them every single game until proven otherwise.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
see any of these other teams in Europe even being able to stand up to them unless they throw and troll, like, which is hard. It's hard to predict a team to beat a team when the only win condition is if the team that they're gonna beat it trolls and throws the game. Like
Yeah.
as your only win condition. And you don't have like any like deep stats like, oh, maybe they just play effectively against them. No, they don't. Like no one does. So it's pretty much, it's probably, unless G2 goes on a slump here, it's gonna be like a 18-0 year, I think, for most of us for G2, unless one of us needs a big upset somewhere. But yeah, that is our podcast for EU. I want to thank you guys for coming to watch. Tomorrow we have the wild card. Actually, Brock, talk about something with EU. I don't know. Like talk about G2 again, because I need to actually do something related to wild card.
Well, it was actually a good thing to do because I actually wanted to ask you with Excel signing Mithy. Do you think he's going to turn into the EU's version of Dyrus? Where he's just camped every game?
He could be. He could be. I think that I don't know. I hate the pick. I was stunned honestly when I saw that they picked him. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Because for me, I don't personally think teams need to camp Mickey in order to beat Excel, but I think him being the type of player he is, I think it's just going to be one of those things. Well, why wouldn't camp this guy?
Yeah, like it's a free tilt basically. Actually,
Yeah, pretty much.
This is not showing up, so I can't do it anyway. I'm sorry. I was going to, basically for the wildcard podcast tomorrow, the LST, the one region, what the heck it's called, the League of Legends Sea Tour. They're they're a very tiny region. They actually have games on Friday, so like I'm like tonight. So I was like, oh no, I need to make my predictions before those. I was going to make them real quick on here so I can prove it. Let's just say I won't watch the games. You're just going to take my word for it. It's LST. It's not that big a deal. I won't watch the games tomorrow until I pick on the podcast, okay? I can't find the games right now, sadly. That's what I was going to go for. But anyway, that's our podcast. If you want to watch us tomorrow, it's probably just going to be me tomorrow. Maybe Brian. I think he said he might show up. We'll see. He might eat dinner at 9 p.m. But yeah, we're gonna be doing the wild card, which is gonna this week. Last week it was just CB LOL and OPL because Oceania starts tonight, and for some stupid reason I picked 2 days in a row of that instead of just like one day, so I don't get to do predictions on that tomorrow because I already made them. But yeah, it's gonna be like all of the regions except the only regions it won't be is Japan and Russia because Japan doesn't start until next week and Russia doesn't start until July, which is weird. But the rest of them, Vietnam, LST, Brazil, Latin America, all that, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. It's going to be not as in-depth because there's like 8 regions to go through in one podcast. It's just going to be kind of going down the list really quickly, but it'll be fun. And if you're a fan of one of those smaller regions there's not many podcasts out there for it, so I'm trying to fill like a niche target there. So thank you guys for coming to watch, and hope to see you tomorrow if you want to learn about smaller regions. Good night.
Bye-bye.